Hello everyone. We are back with another video on business analysis case study tutorial, wherein we have been trying to make you understand some of the key business analysis concepts, and that too with the help of practical case studies. Now, in the previous video tutorial, we understood what user stories are, what constitutes effective user stories, and how to write good acceptance criteria. In today's video tutorial, we are going to discuss what are some of the most common user story writing mistakes that business analysts make. Now, user stories may look simple on the surface, but still there is every chance that they could be written poorly. And these poorly written user stories are one of the biggest reasons why agile projects fail. Now, in this video, I'll walk you through 6 very common mistakes that VAs make while writing user stories and using a practical banking case study so that everything feels realistic and relatable. So let's get started. Now, the agenda that we have today is a quick refresher on what user stories are. Then we will look at the impact of poorly written user stories. We will follow that with an introduction to the case study. And there is this case study called NovaPay Online Banking Portal that we will go through. Now, using that case study, we will look at 6 common user story writing mistakes that many VAs unknowingly make. And finally, I'll give you a simple and practical quality checklist that you can use before you can consider a user story as ready to be developed. So let's start off with user stories quick refresher. Now, if you had gone through the previous tutorial, you would have understood the basic concepts of user story. So a user story is basically a short and simple description of a feature that is written from user's perspective. And it is important to note that it's from a user's perspective. So it basically has 3 components, which is as a type of user, I want to perform an action so that I can achieve some goal or benefit. And each part has a specific purpose. As a defines who the user is. I want defines what they want to do. And so that explains why they want it, which is the business value or the business goal. Looking at a simple example, as a customer, I want to search for products so that I can quickly find what I want to purchase. So all the 3 components are defined very properly in this user story example. It is very simple, clear, and focused on business value. Now, there is another important concept known as invest criteria. So a good user story should meet the invest criteria, where I stands for independent, which means that it's deliverable on its own without any dependency on another user story. N stands for negotiable, which means that it is open to discussion and stakeholders can discuss and refine the user story. V stands for valuable, which means that a user story delivers business value. And that is what is evident from the fact that it has a so that part to it. E stands for estimable, which means that the team that is going to work on the user story is able to estimate or size the user story. S stands for small, which means that a user story is able to fit in a sprint. And T stands for testable, which means that user story has clear acceptance criteria. And this together forms invest criteria, which a user story should meet. Now, let's look at impact of poorly written user stories on agile projects. So many people underestimate how damaging bad user stories can be. Let's look at some of the real project impacts. The first one is increased rework. Now, ambiguous or incomplete stories may lead to developers building the wrong thing. This means that more corrections and more rework have to be done later, which will waste a lot of time and effort. Then we have misaligned expectations. When teams and stakeholders interpret stories differently, the delivered product rarely matches what was envisioned. The final product will fail to match the business expectations. The third one is budget overruns. Rework, delays, extensions, confusion, scope creep caused by poorly written user stories will have a big impact on the budget. And finally, sprint failures. Poorly written user stories or oversized user stories or unclear user stories will lead to even failure of sprints altogether. affecting the complete team morale. So these are some of the impacts of poorly written user stories on projects. Now, let me introduce you to the case study. So as I said, this case study is on NovaPay Online Banking Portal. So NovaPay is a mid-sized retail bank designing its own online banking portal with the aim to improve customer experience. And a business analyst, let's call her Lisa, has been assigned to elicit requirements and write user stories for the Agile team. There are few considerations that this project has tight deadlines, multiple stakeholders, and high stakeholder expectations. And throughout this video, we will analyze the mistakes made by our BA Lisa in writing effective user story and see how each problem could have been avoided. So let's come to mistake one, which is forgetting the so that. So this is the first most common mistake that BAs end up making. So this is where the so that part, if is omitted, then it can lead to a lot of confusion. Lisa is consistently stopping at the action here and not including the so that part in the user story. So she's probably writing the user stories as a Nova State customer, I want to receive SMS alerts when a transaction occurs. Now, technically, this sounds okay, but something important is missing, which is why does the customer want that? Without the so that, the team cannot prioritize effectively because they don't have any sight of what is the purpose behind what they are building. So, without the so that section, the team doesn't understand the real business objective. So, the incomplete story says that as a NovaPay customer, I want to receive SMS alerts when a transaction occurs. Where, as you see, the business value is entirely missing. Whereas the corrected version says, as a NovaPay customer, I want to receive SMS alerts when a transaction occurs so that I can immediately detect unauthorized activity and protect my account. Now, as you see, the business value is very much clear. This helps better decisions, prioritization, and stakeholder alignment. Now, always remember, features are important, but the business value behind a user story is even more important. Now, the second mistake is writing from a system perspective. This is basically writing a user story from system perspective rather than a user's perspective. Right. So here RBA, these are user stories for NovaPay portal were written from system perspective. And this is a classic error which she was making. So she basically wrote an erroneous story like the system shall display account balance on the dashboard. And as you see, again, the user goal and the business value is completely missing here. Whereas user story should always focus on what goal is going to be achieved. Right? So user story basically must always be anchored to a real person's goal and the value that they expect to achieve. Now look at the correct version of it. Now this corrected version identifies the user, the action, and the business value, the three pillars as you had seen, which forms a well-created user story. Now the correct story here is, as a NovaPay customer, I want to see my current account balance on the dashboard so that I can quickly check my finances without navigating away. Right? So notice the difference. Now we clearly understand who the user is, what they need, and why it matters. A simple rule. If your story sounds like a technical documentation, there is something really wrong. It isn't a proper user story. Now, let's have a look at mistake three, which is missing or vague acceptance criteria. Now, this is the third mistake that we are looking at, which Lisa is also making in her project. So Lisa wrote a user story for funds transfer, but didn't include any acceptance criteria. The development team, QA team interpreted the requirements differently, leading to rework. Without these, every team member fill in the blanks and often incorrectly because they are not aware of what this user story is all about because acceptance criteria is completely missing. So one of the best approaches that could be used there and which Lisa could have used is to write an acceptance criteria using a standard format which is given when then. It is one of the most reliable and widely adopted approach for structuring acceptance criteria that too very clearly and testably. Now, as an example, we can use this kind of a user story given when then format, which Lisa could have used. Like The example is given, I am logged in into my NovaPay account and have sufficient funds. This is a precondition. When is the action, which describes the specific action the user is performing. And the example here is when I initiate a transfer of euro 500 to a saved payee. Then is the expected outcome. Then the transfer should complete successfully and show confirmation within 3 seconds. So as you see, this is a very clear and testable acceptance criteria format in the form of a given when then criteria. Now this structure makes the requirement testable, measurable, and easy to validate. So that is why it's very important to write clear acceptance criteria in a user story. Now let's come to mistake number 4. User stories are too large, epics in disguise. So this is another mistake which our BA Lisa is making in her project. So during sprint planning, Lisa presented the following. She presented, as a NovaPay customer, I want to manage all my banking needs online. Now, as you see, this is far too broad. This is a very high level requirement that cannot be planned, estimated, or even prioritized. And it cannot be delivered in a single sprint. That means it's not a user story, it's an epic. Now think about it. Managing banking needs online could include transfer, payments, statements, profile management, loans, investment, and much more. So this is in every way an epic. And what a good BA must do is a BA must break down or decompose an epic into smaller, independently deliverable user stories before they enter a sprint. Now, each story should represent a single unit of user value that a team can realistically complete within one iteration. And going back again to invest criteria, a user story must be small to fit into a single sprint or an iteration. So a user story and epic need to be clearly distinguished and differentiated. We should not write user stories in a way that they are basically an epic. We need to write smaller stories and it will help us improve estimation, prioritization, and the overall delivery of the user story. Now coming to mistake number 5, which is writing for one type of user when there are in fact many users. So this is another mistake RBA Lisa has been making in her project. So NovaPay portal is basically serving multiple user types like retail customers, business account holders, bank administrator, and each one have their own specific needs. Whereas Lisa is writing most of her stories with a generic persona as a user or as a customer. Now this is creating a lot of ambiguity as developers who are working on building features are working for one user type but not for others. Now each user story should have a reference to a specific named persona that is tied to a real user group, and each one have their own needs and behaviors. And in our example, retail customers have their specific needs on simple navigation and quick access to balances and transfers. Business users have their specific needs on bulk payments and reporting. Administrators have their specific needs around audit trails and fraud monitoring. So if we write the user stories as just as a user in a very generic way, the requirements become ambiguous. So always use specific personas, and the more precise the persona, the better the development, testing, and all the decisions become. So it's an important lesson for Lisa and for us that we start creating the user stories with respective personas. Now let's come to mistake number 6, which is embedding technical solutions into the story. Now this is another mistake which BAs, especially system analysts, do often. So a good user story describes the what and the why, never the how. Right? The how belongs to the development team. So when BAs add or embed technical implementations directly into the user story, they remove the team's ability to innovate, to solutionize. So in this example, Lisa is writing an erroneous story by adding all the technical implementation details. She is writing, as a customer, I want the system to use AES 256 encryption on the MySQL database so that the data is secure. So this story prescribes a technical solution. Encryption type, database technology, which is a developer's domain, not a PA's domain. Whereas the user story should focus on what the user need and why they need it, not how the system will implement it. So let's look at the improved version, the counterpart story, which is the correct one. So as a NovaPay customer, I want my personal and financial data to be stored securely so that I am protected from unauthorized access. Now, this version, as you see, clearly states user need and value. The technical team decides how to achieve it during design and implementation. And they'll have all the flexibility to decide architecture, encryption approaches, implementation approaches, and the BA should not dictate technical solutions in the user stories. They should define the requirements. So this is another mistake which BA and in our scenario, Visa should be avoiding. So let's now look at the user story quality checklist. It basically, in a nutshell, covers all the mistakes that we talked about and how to avoid it. And it will be very practical to have a checklist with us so that we can follow all the checklist steps and then decide that our user story meet all these conditions. So before submitting any user story to the backlog, run this practical checklist. And this is a lesson for Lisa as well, to run this checklist for every user story that she writes. So the first one is whether the user story passes the invest criteria check. It should basically be a user story. We should meet invest criteria: independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, and testable. It should be written in a as is, I want, so that format, so that all the three key pillars of user story are captured properly. And business value must be mentioned clearly. That is what our third checklist point is, that it should clearly state the business value in the so that clause. Then we have a user story should reference a specific named persona, not a generic as a user or as a customer. A user story should include clear testable acceptance criteria, which is very, very important. We need to align on acceptance criteria with all our Agile team members and stakeholders. The acceptance criteria should follow a standard format like a given when then format for clarity and transparency. A user story should not prescribe a technical solution at all. It should avoid adding any technical implementation details. Leave it to the development team. And finally, is it small enough to fit within one sprint? It should not be an epic. It should be a story which should fit into one sprint. So create it accordingly. And if your story passes all these checks, you are already ahead in terms of writing quality user stories. So this is all we wanted to cover. And this brings us to the end of this tutorial. And I hope this case study helped you understand not just the mistakes, but also how to improve and avoid those mistakes. So if you found this session useful, please post a comment and share it with your fellow business analysts. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you all the best for your business analysis journey. Thank you.